arrive at 5. Educating. Empowering. Entertaining. We are the top 5.
Hey everyone!
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Did you guys see me get it? I saw you.
I just want everyone to see if they could just share the show. Let's get as much people to view our show so we could discuss all the topics that we want to discuss ahead. I wanted to ask all my girls on the show, how was your weekend? How was everything? Anything new?
Mm-hmm. Who's going to go first?
The weekend was great. I have to say, it was great. It was quiet, just prepping for the unknown when it comes to school. I'm not too sure what my semester is going to look like. That's the only thing. But other than that, it was great.
Awesome.
Let's not act like the weekend is over, ladies. It's only Sunday evening.
It's only Sunday. It's only Sunday. Mine was really relaxing. I had a good time. I relaxed. I rested. Yesterday was my son's 24th birthday, so we had a lot of fun with that.
Happy birthday!
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's only not even 7 p.m. yet, so the weekend's not over.
That's right.
It's not over.
Yesterday blew by. I barely remember what I did, but I didn't do much, and that's a good thing. I like to use my weekends to sometimes do absolutely nothing. Just look at the walls.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, I cleaned my room. That's what I did. Very late last night, I had the energy to organize and get all these papers in order, and I felt good because I left and it was like, oh, everything is in place. I feel good. I feel comfortable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice chi energy.
Yes.
Late night energy.
Good flow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Energy needs to flow back and forth. Yes, I believe that.
Right. Yeah.
Mine was pretty good. I relaxed most of the weekend, spent time with the hubby, and did a little online shopping, I guess, browsing.
Therapy.
Shopping therapy. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started. We're going to start talking about Vice Presidential-elect Kamala Harris.
Oh my gosh.
I know there's like a lot of things being said in the media when it comes to her. I would like to know, what are your thoughts about it? I have my thoughts about it, but what are your thoughts about it?
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll go first. This is a big moment.
Since I'm the novice here, I'm gonna go first because I want to know your guys' point of view, because I'm still do not know anything about politics, but I'm willing to learn. So I just want to know, like, what do we vote for? Do we vote for nationality, gender, race? Do we vote for what person, what they did in their past, what they're gonna do? So I want to hear you guys who are experts in politics, especially funding. I want to hear because funding, I'm still undecided. So somebody here have to convince me where I'm going, like not vote or vote for Biden. So that's where we're not. No. So somebody have to convince me.
So let's start with, to you and to everybody out there, not voting is not an option.
It's not.
Absolutely.
Okay.
True.
Not voting is not an option. We should do that as a slogan.
You
not voting is not an option.
Let's say it all together.
Come on,
Not
not voting
voting
is
is
not
option.
an
an option.
Yes.
But
Okay.
you know what? Sorry to cut you guys off, but I wanted to say that I don't like when people say they're not voting, because there's so many people that risk their lives before us for us to be able to vote. So to sit back and say I'm not voting is actually disrespectful to the people that actually risk their lives for us to vote today. So there's no reason why you shouldn't vote unless you're not able to.
Right.
Absolutely, I agree.
Got you.
Mm-hmm. And one other thing I'd like to add to that is that women only got the right to vote a few years ago. It hasn't been that long. We never even had the right to vote. So let's remember that. Funday, take it away.
Yes.
Yes.
For me, it has been an amazing week in politics. We came off of Trinidad having their elections 2 Mondays ago. Jamaica just called their elections, and the Jamaicans are very involved in politics, really, for better or for worse, right? They're either diehard one party, but they're super involved in the political process. They're going to vote, right?
Exactly.
So for me, in the United States, voting for me is never an option. I'm always going to vote, and I've been voting since I became a United States citizen. As far as Senator Kamala Harris, it comes with a lot of questions. For one, she's a woman, so that gets me excited. She's a Black woman, so now I'm doubly excited. She is an immigrant, right? So I think a part of the question, or the part of the turmoil for me, is, does it mean she automatically has my vote? And a lot of women, I think, are probably saying that. So because she checks these boxes, do we overlook everything else and say, yes, we're voting the Democratic Party because of Kamala Harris?
Well, let's just make it clear. Her parents are immigrants, but she was born here.
Right.
Yeah. So like I feel that I'm pretty proud that not only a woman is selected as vice president for this country, but I mean, there's so many things that people have been saying in her history record that I do understand, and it doesn't deter me from not voting for Biden and Harris. But my thing is more so, I'm just tired of Trump. And actually, I'm tired of old white men in office. And as a 31-year-old, I'm tired of these people basically trying to put these laws and, for my future, and they're not really considering, our generation. So I'm at that point of I'm ready to see a change, and I'm ready for Trump just to get out of office. It's like the lesser of two evils. I'm going for them. It's whatever. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna be there. I just need him to be out.
Yeah. I can agree with you on that. We're living in a very scary time, and the option of him getting another 4 years makes me feel like we're going to end up in a completely fascist state. And I don't want to go there. And for the first time in living in America for the last 20 years, I've never thought about moving back home. And this is actually a thought for me. There's a lot of things that I'd like to do, but I'm not going to do them because I'm waiting until after the election, because I'm not too sure how things are going to pan out, or if I should invest in this or buy this or do that. So there's so many decisions that hang on this election. Now, for me, I would choose Kamala because she grew up in Montreal for what? She was there from she was 12 into her teens, and I'm Canadian, and I love that. So I support her for that reason.
And I think Kamala Harris just endorsed the top 5 as well.
That would be great. That would be great.
We're going to bring that good energy, and probably she will.
That would be great.
Yes.
So I support her for that. I like the fact that she's the third woman who has ever been chosen for the vice president seat. And let's see if she actually gets it this time, because before her, there was Sarah Palin, and there was one other woman called Geraldine. How many other male presidents have we had? So many. It's time for a woman to get a chance. I don't care about the color. I'm concerned about her attitude. She's fierce. I like women who are fierce. She stands for what she believes. She's not wishy-washy on where she's from. She clearly claims, I heard her on the show, what is it, with Charlemagne, saying that she's
Oh, yeah.
a black woman. She's a straight black woman.
Yes.
Like there's nothing. She went to Howard University. She's paid her dues. She's moved up the ranks. She talked about, I read something that she was one of the second groups to go to, I think it was public school in a rich neighborhood. They were trying out these programs. When she went to law school, she went to law based on some program that was there for people who couldn't really afford it. So she's paid her dues, and I'm sure she's not perfect, and nobody is. Leadership is not being about perfect. It's about taking responsibility and owning what you do wrong. And I think that as a woman, we have more of that honesty, and I'm hoping that she'll bring that to the table. Biden really needs her. In my opinion, I think Biden is a man who normally puts his foot in his mouth, and he needs somebody to rein him in or take control, because I'm not really too keen on him.
Right.
But he's all we've got right now. And the other option is, I don't know.
There's no option.
Exactly.
There is really no other option. I like that she's a woman, and I like that she's a go-getter, and she stands for what she believes in. So I do like that part.
And I'll just add that we just had Miss Kelly Charles Collins posting to learn. Kelly Charles Collins, thank you for watching. To learn more about her record, as in Senator Harris's record, we should watch the Black Woman Views on YouTube, and she linked. And I'm going to confess, initially, I had to come around to the idea of supporting Kamala Harris. For one, I was a little frustrated with older white men using another Black woman as bait.
Yes, I agree.
In other words, he went fishing, Joe Biden did, and left his bait at home. And so I had to get out of my head the idea that, is he using Senator Harris to get the Victorias, the Colleens, the Yolandis, the Dionys off the world?
It absolutely is.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
So I had to get over my emotions. Like, no, you can't do that. And it took me a little while, and it took me a little bit of conversing. And first of all, I am not going to go for the sound bites. Like some people are how they're treating her as a woman. If you are going to post negatively about her as a woman, as a Black woman, I'm just not going to even conversate with you, right? Yeah. But I had to do my little come around, and I think some people might be in that mindset. Landy, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh,
that's hot.
You look hot. You meaning gorgeous hot. So I definitely had to do my come around and get that thought out of my head.
I think one of the things I don't like is, throughout the week, there's a lot of people posting things like, "Oh, she's a Black woman." So what? She is Black, but that doesn't need. I don't like the idea of people saying like, "Okay, well, she's Black. She's Black." When Hillary was voting, it's like, nobody said, "Oh, she's a white woman." She's a woman. That's it. Just basic. Like, take the color out of it.
I don't think they
about her on what she's done.
Yeah. You know what? That's what I'm saying. Is like everyone wants to pull the race card. It was exactly like CNN was saying a couple of days ago. They were saying technically Kamala Harris is not an African American woman.
Yes, I heard that.
Now, I can understand what they're talking about. So a lot of people really don't understand that when it comes to African American, it was a term that was for Blacks in America that went through slavery. So people who were here long time got this label as African American. Obviously, Kamala Harris, her parents are from India and Jamaica. So yes, technically she's Black, but because she doesn't have ancestry from America, she's not technically African American. There's two differences in that. And a lot of people, they can't really comprehend the differences because obviously, it's talking about culture, not really race, right?
Right.
So racially, we're all the same. Culturally, we can be a little different. So I don't think people understand that. So what do you think about that?
Wow.
Yeah,
That to me sounds really backward. Because, example, when you go for a job application, there's no Jamaica, Grenada, or other things other than African American.
But
and
Black.
her parents raised her to identify as a Black woman. So how do you want, a race of people to identify with only what you have them to, be labeled as?
I think they're not saying that because remember in the boxes it says Black, it says African American. So it's not, they're not saying that she's denying her race. He's just saying that basically her history isn't from America. Exactly. Wow. So she's a Black woman first.
But again, immigrants built America, right? So it's not really being true to what America really is if she cannot, track back her roots to American roots. I don't think I can track back my roots to American roots because I'm an immigrant. My parents are immigrants. My grandparents are immigrants. But I would identify as African American. Why? Because that's what you told me when I came here. That's what I'm going to be recognized as. So I believe that, once you are an immigrant, you can identify once you were born here as African American or came here, through whatever means necessary. You're African American, right? And and to be honest, I believe that Kamala Harris is an African American in every way, shape, or form because she's carrying the story, right? Immigrant parents, born out here, paid her dues, and is doing great things for herself and the people that looks like her.
Yeah, but Colleen, like the thing about it, I totally get it. But the thing about it is that you have Black Hispanics and they have Black Hispanic on their card. They could say Hispanic, right? But they're Black. But you're from Grenada, you're Black, but technically you're not African American. Now that people don't understand that, yes, they could, the false idea is basically saying, hey, pick that. But at the end of the day, I remember, sorry to cut that off, but I remember when I was in 5th grade and my teacher, she asked me, where's your parents from? And I, the first thing I said, I was like, my mom's from Grenada. She said, oh, you're Hispanic. I said, what the world? I'm Hispanic. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't think so. She's like, well, where's your dad from? I'm from Jamaican. Oh, you're African American. Listen, this was a Cuban teacher. And I told her, no, I'm not. And I was like, I'm Black, but I'm not African American. I'm first generation born in this country. My culture is totally different than my counterparts, but I do recognize that I am Black. No doubt, I'm Black. But I understand what they're saying because people, they don't understand what it means as in culture-wise. We can't really, can you really relate to African-American culture or can you relate to Afro-Grenadian culture?
I think you can relate to both.
I agree with Colleen. I agree with Colleen.
I think you can relate.
I think we're gonna pass the mug. Whoever have their mug up gets to speak.
I'm stirring.
I identify as Caribbean American.
We can identify as Caribbean American. We can identify as African Americans because I say we can because I lived half my life in Grenada and I lived half my life in America. So I went to high school in America and I also went to what you consider high school in Grenada as well. And I believe that I have a little bit of American culture. I know about American history and I know about Grenadian history, right? And if we're talking about, being able to identify with American history, think about the huge milestone that we all have crossed the other day when we had to go out and protest in the street. I did.
I did
I
too.
brought my son. That is as American as it can be, right? Because you're standing up and you're fighting for the things that you believe in on this soil. And I feel like I can identify with both, you know,
Here's my thought on this. I see nothing wrong in them giving us all of what Kamala Harris is. For me, as a Caribbean woman, I want to own a little piece of that Caribbean Kamala. As an African American woman, and I might not be considered African American, but I don't want to say boldly, I'm not African American, because that takes away, it's almost like I'm saying African American is not good enough for me. And I think as a Caribbean woman, we have to be careful with that rhetoric as Caribbean.
Exactly.
Because when I just moved to this country, I always wanted to show how Jamaican I was. I wanted to say, I am not African American. So when we say we're not African American, we have to make sure it's not said in such a way as, don't get me confused, I'm not Black. Right? So for me, as a woman, Caribbean woman, first of all, Kamala Harris has been Black for the last 55 years. Now that she's becoming VP, they're going to make her into this kind of cake. They're going to separate. And I think it's being done strategically, and it's being done to be divisive. Right?
So Kelly Charles Collins said it is a ploy to create division.
Oh my gosh.
Within the Black culture.
She hit it right on the head.
Did not see that.
Don't fall for it.
Don't fall for it. Okay, and that's my point. I think with Caribbean people, listen, and I wrote a piece about this where as Caribbean people, we're spending so much time trying not to be included in the African American culture when we came on their backs, right? Because they were fighting civil rights before we, and in fact, Dr. King included immigrants in the civil rights movement. So I think as Caribbean people, we need to hold up that mantle and said, I'll check any darn box you want me to check. Black, African American, what is the other one? Grenadian, Caribbean?
Grenadian.
Oh, Afro-Caribbean.
Afro-Caribbean.
So long as you fully understand that we're in the struggle together and you're not going to use your little divisive ploys.
That's true.
I'm going to be shouting Kamala, the Jamaican part of her, until she makes it into that seat.
Yeah, that's true. Because my son and my sister, we was having a discussion last night, and he said the same thing. He said, "Mom, they are doing that to divide us. Caribbean, America, and this that is like just vote.
Exactly. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I feel like, you know, they when it comes to being Afro or Black in America, I think through their eyes, they see it as one thing. You're Black.
Yeah, you're Black.
Yes.
Yeah, you're Black. There is no, you know, you do something wrong or you do something that is not within their, you know, you're Black. You're Black. And that's just your label. There is no, you know, I always tell myself at the end of the day in this country, you know, okay, I'm Grenadian. That does not take me away from their wrath if they have to give it. Okay, that even makes it worse. You're an immigrant living in this country, and you think you can get away with this? Okay. So whenever, you know, something like that comes up, where I am is where it's you're in the land of whatever, do what the Romans do. That's how I look at it. I'm here. I'm living by their rules and standards in some way. I still identify and I love Grenada dearly, but I'm here. And, you know, I have to relate with what's going on here as well. And I totally see myself. I am an African American by your standards, and that's what I'm going to be. You can't take that away from me. You gave it to me. So I'm embracing that. But I'm also, you know, looking at when I see Miss Harris, she looks as me, right? And she represents a lot of the things that we want to achieve as women. One, I see her as a woman, first thing first. And she's an African-American woman. And I would agree with Deani at first. You know, the first thing that came to mind was her record as a prosecutor. and the negative effects it had within the Black neighborhood. And I said, oh my gosh, I hope this is not going to be another Clinton effect where we love them, but then behind the scenes they're damaging the families in those poor communities. And I'm hoping that's not what's going to repeat itself again. But then I had to, after looking at the news a few times and, hearing the reason, sometimes, they put the bad things at the forefront to give us this negative, connotation about somebody without really checking the facts. And it swayed me a little bit because, she means well. From what I've heard, she means well, and I feel like we have to give her a chance because again, who's in the White House needs to be out, and if that's the better of the two, that's where I'm going to go. 100%.
Kelly Charles Collins says, right, they're only differentiated when it suits them. But one thing this country will never let you forget is that you are Black. Whenever your Blackness is originated.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just like to
Kelly
say,
Charles on that.
With that being said, so I was born in England. I grew up in Canada, and my parents are from St. Vincent. And for the greater part of my life, I would say from 3-4 years old, I spent it in Canada. So I do see myself more Canadian, more than anything else, even though I was born in England. And in Canada, it's different because the way that they go by, the country is a mosaic of different people that come together. In America, the idea is when you come to America, you are an American. I've never really embraced being American. I am a citizen of this country, yes. When it comes to checking off those little boxes, sometimes I write in the other box because I'm not an African American. My son has been born here. He is a full American, so that's it. He's he's Black. He was born here. That fits him perfectly. For me, just the fact of just checking just basic Black, because if they were to go into Black, African, Caribbean, Black this, Black that, it's just too much to be on the whatever forms that are out there, and it is limiting because it doesn't really express.
So Yolandi, that's what I was saying. Like with like we all know that we are all Black, and obviously like Blackness goes across board. Like I said, you have Black people who are Hispanic, you have Black Italians, you have Black, Blackness everywhere. So I just feel like when it comes to America, they put us in so much different little boxes that instead of, I'd rather say it's Black. Right? Yeah. Like for you, like my husband, he's Canadian. My husband's Canadian. What did he put? African American? He's not born here. I mean, he has no ties here. So he's Black. He's a Black man. So like for me, it's just more so of like they can continue to create, like you said, divisionists amongst us. So
So our vote is not as powerful, and when they do that, then our vote becomes watered down. Our fights become watered down because we choose to say, "Oh, that's not my battle. That's not my battle."
Exactly.
Other islands does that now. Like I know people who are from DR that looks just like me that would say that they're not Black. That looks exactly like me. And if we took the DNA test, we are absolutely the same. But because America likes to put us in little boxes, obviously they're like, oh, that's not my fight. I'm Hispanic.
Wow, you guys, I never, in my head, I never really go through that. I just consider myself Black and I just moved on. But I love that deep conversations because you guys are opening my eyes to stuff because I'm like, I'm just Black from the Caribbean. Like I don't go deep into the issue.
We have to.
About Kamala Harris is that she's pro-choice. She supports same-sex marriage, and she's very much for promotion of the Black race. And for all of these things, I think that I know she has my vote because I want a woman in the White House. Forget about the Black. We know she's Black. I just want her to be there, and she has my support.
Well, Kelly Charles Collins is giving us a lot of information because she says, please review her entire record as a prosecutor. She implemented so many programs, but that uplifted and helped the Black community and our children.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
And that goes
gonna look at
towards
it.
us doing our research. I think it's important that
Yeah.
we do our research. I do see we have fans joining us from Bahamas as well, and Martinique.
Ooh,
So ladies,
yes,
we are
welcome.
international. Nicole watching from Martinique, and also Lulu watching from the Bahamas. I just wanted to shout out our guest. I'm sorry. Continue the series.
Virtual vacation. We're tapping
Yes,
all
I know.
islands.
yes. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Awesome.
But I must admit, I am super excited. I want to see how Senator Harris does on this ticket.
I know you are.
Yolandi, she has my vote, and it's important that we get our communities engaged.
Yes.
So having her vote, I remember during Obama won, it was the community got very engaged and behind the former president. So I imagine we have to do the same. Those grassroots efforts, those making the telephone calls, we have to be a part of that. We have to continue to educate our communities on the issues, because there's going to be a lot of sound bites out there where people won't openly, it'll be a sound bite and somebody bites it off, and before you know it, they're spreading all kind of rumors. So
well, you guys, you did a good job convincing me now.
One down.
Yeah, you guys did a good job. I'm definitely going to do my own personal research a little bit more, but I'm liking what I'm hearing,
Before we end this topic, I want us to say one more time that not voting is not an option.
Not voting is not an option.
Get to the poll.
Go to the poll.
Vote. Yes, we have to vote. Yes.
So we're going to take a break right now, and we'll go on to our next topic.
Woo!
Hey, we're back. So we're going to talk about online dating, and I want to know, did any of you guys meet your significant other online?
Me.
Tell.
No, well, it's kind of online, right? Because we met on Facebook. We met in a Facebook group. We was in a group together. I was there a couple years before him, not active. But when I moved to Texas, I was like, maybe I should get active in that group. They probably would have an extension in Texas, but it didn't. It's a group in New York. And he came on one day and he showed his face and he had a no shirt. And I was like, who is this guy without shirt on Facebook?
He tried on you.
I want to get to know him because he's brave.
That's called
so I kind of stalked him for 2 weeks, but he never came back in the group and commented. And one day I made a post in the group asking about why do men bring drama into women's life when they say they do not want drama. and he responded, and I'm like, that's the guy. Yes, I was like, that's the guy. And 3 years now, we still together.
Yeah.
Wow. So, congrats.
I met my husband on a online dating site. Not going to mention it, but
why not?
You're not really paying me to mention.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
forgot about
We're
that.
gonna
Love
keep
it.
that low key.
Yes.
But I met him on online. It wasn't actually planned because at that moment I was actually getting out of a very long relationship. It was 5 years, and one of my friends was like, "Go on there. People are funny. This will entertain you. Get out your funk." I went on there, and my husband actually sent me a message like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Who is this guy?" My husband had like a picture. He had a box cut. It was like this, like and then he had his white coat on. I was like, "Who is this guy? Is he?"
Yeah, right?
And I was like, but he was so respectful. So I was like, I'm going to entertain the conversation. So I did. And, we got to know each other. We Skyped. And then we had our first date. And then it took off from there. And, we've been married for 3 years, been together for like 7 years. So, I mean, I would suggest anyone, if you are having problems with the whole dating.
Victoria, let's ask our audience. Let's see if any of our audience members,
Yes.
if they're willing to talk.
Yes.
Just kind of put in the comment if you met your spouse or significant other online.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be curious.
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody else met it? Who else?
You gotta be open.
Nobody.
How about you, Yolandi?
Oh no, I met my husband through someone who I met on the street. He actually came up to me and told me that he knows this nice guy that he thinks that I should meet. So just so
like, okay.
I
love
was
it.
standing on the street waiting for the bus, and this guy drives up, and I'm like, "What? This guy? What is he coming here for?" And he comes over and he tells me that he knows this really nice guy, and he thinks I should meet him. And that's how that happened to me, for me. So that was my story. But online dating is a way of the future.
Yes,
it is.
I think I would feel really awkward, like dating by any one of those sites and things like that. But it's interesting because in addition to dating online, there's a lot of marriages that are coming out of it. Mm-hmm. But the other thing with people online, they also like to present everything is perfect. So everybody's living a rock star life, and everybody has like the best job, and everybody's a doctor and a lawyer, and they're superstars, and they live in big houses, and they have great cars. So for some people, they found themselves, I've heard of situations where you meet the person and what you get is a complete dud.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that catfishing? Is that what you call
catfishing?
Catfishing.
Yeah.
Like you get a model and then they're not.
They're not.
Talking
he
about
says
that.
He's making 6 figures, but he doesn't even have 4 figures. Like, come on, that's messy.
Don't let me fall off my chair.
Don't drop the mug. Don't drop that mug.
All right, we see. Go ahead,
on.
Victoria.
No, you said someone, I think. Oh, yes. Chrissy Jenkins. He said, I met mine through a friend. She was trying to talk to him, and I ended up talking to him. Oops, 22 years married this year.
Chrissy Jenkins. Wow. She snatched him.
And like Lulu, he said, I met someone online thinking it's a female, but it turns out to be a man. I don't know.
Wow.
That is a real catfish. You need to.
That's a catfish.
You should have called MTV for that.
Yeah. Get on the show.
Yeah.
That would have made
it has its risk, because I figure like whether you meet him online, you meet him via Facebook, you meet him in the club, you meet him, somebody introduce you, it's still a stranger, so you still have to get to know him.
Well, like the show Love is Blind, they said that they're having a new season. So, Love is Blind is kind of like, it's not online, but it's similar. They don't see them face to face. It's behind like a whole kind of like a wall. And then they have to make a decision if they should get married or not. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're doing a new season this year. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about it? Did you see it? Mm-hmm. Would you ever put yourself on that show?
So I watched. First of all, I've been out of the dating market for a long time, so I'd have to get some lessons on going back in. I would just need. I would need, because first of all, if you reach out to me and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be like, who do you think you're talking to?" So I'm gonna have to get a little bit of training on how to go back in to the date. If I were to go back in, knock on wood, I don't want to go back. But I did watch Love is Blind, and I fell head over heels in love with my favorite couple, Cameron and
Cameron.
Cameron and I forgot her name.
Oh, wait.
But it was an interesting show because they had to make this decision on the fly. And especially now when we talk about Corona, you don't have the time now to be, if you're in the dating market, I can't imagine you wanting to go on a date 2 to 3 times a week. So you have to kind of fast track the dating process, I think.
Yes.
Because you can't go out with any and everybody because you don't know if they've been exposed, and you have to be safe to yourself. So I cannot imagine online dating with Corona going on. And I think somebody posted that online dating is up now that during Corona.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And her name was Lauren.
Lauren and Cameron, they were my favorite couple. They were my favorite. Are they still married?
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah, I follow them on Instagram. So
is that the black and white couple?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I just started watching the show yesterday, and I guess that's the one I like too. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're awesome. I mean, I felt that show was full of drama. It was actually hilarious to me, especially with that one guy, and I forgot his name. But if you guys remember, let me know. So that one guy that actually yelled at that lady and
about the wig. With the wig. He said her wig was lean or something.
But you know what? He hid a secret. He said that he's fluent, so he goes both ways. Fluid. Yes. So he goes both ways, and he hid that from her. And then when he told her after they were married and everything, he's like, "Yes, I'm fluid." So she was pretty upset. Of course,
for our audience, what fluid is, because I didn't know what fluid was when I was watching that show.
So
what is fluid?
So it means that you like male, female, everything else above, everywhere, you know,
everywhere. Yeah,
you know,
bisexual.
It's not.
Is it the same as being bisexual?
Not really, because you could date a trans woman.
Yes.
Oh,
free.
Okay.
You're free.
Okay.
You're free.
Oh, you're free. Yeah.
You want.
Yes, you're free for love.
Yes.
Which is fine,
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Choice. That is who kept that away from her the entire show.
Yeah, and he went off.
I think that show could be rather messy though, because
it was very messy.
on the real, let me tell you, if I were to just talk to somebody on the phone, and yes, the person might be a lovely person, but when I see you in real and you don't cut it, I don't think I can marry you. Like, it's just not going to go down. That physical piece, it has to be there. And there's certain things I don't like. Like, you know, everybody has their standard. I like men who are tall and slim. I don't like guys who are fat. I don't like men with man hips and all kinds of stuff. I'm not into that.
Wait a minute.
I'm trying to keep it straight.
Man hips.
You lost me at man hips.
And
that's a new word.
Broad hips.
Definitely not. Man hips and mom jeans and stuff like this.
Oh my gosh.
Curvaceous.
I'm trying that. Landy's not making it easy to hold this laugh back.
Landy is young and she has her type. She has her type.
I can't deal with that. And on that particular show, everybody's beautiful. So I would find it very hard for them to make those matches, or for you to not see who that other person is, because we're all seeing who these people are because it's a show and they're all beautiful. But there was nobody on that show who had, like, you know, completely covered in zits. You know, they're really out of shape.
They should have one.
They should do that.
Like regular people.
Exactly.
Regular people.
Really
regular
true,
people.
right?
Yeah.
If not
infatuation, blind.
Yes.
Exactly. To see if that's really true. I think that would be the deal breaker for a lot of people.
But you know what?
I don't think love is blind, because when we meet somebody for the first time, we don't say, "Hey, I'm Yolandi. I met this guy. He is so educated. He is so we say, "Hey, Yolandi, I met this guy. He is so gorgeous. He is so handsome." And then we get into the education and the other stuff, but we don't go like, "Oh, you know, I like him because I love a guy that has intellect." I think that's why me and Derek together for so long. He, you know, very, very good conversation. So, but that came with just talking for the first time for like 10 hours. So we, you know, I knew he was a good conversational person. So I like that. But I mean, for me, like I was like Yolandi, I like tall, slim, and no hips kind of guy.
I confess, me too.
And when I met Derek, I still am in my 40s, so I kind of changed that a little bit. But I still told God I wanted the looks, though. You know, so I was still like, so I compromised on the height, but I wanted the looks.
Yeah. But hold on, you went to God though?
Yes.
Yes, Victoria, it was.
I went to God.
Divine intervention. She needed that, you know?
Yes, because I was picking all the wrong ones because I was so stuck on tall and slim and muscular.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to shift my mindset to what I really need. Do I need that, or do I need someone that is going to show interest in me? He's going to take care of me. You know, so my mind had to shift from the tall, lanky person to the person that I really need.
Do you think like the show kind of promotes like communication too?
To some extent, yeah.
Right? Because I mean, think about it, like you're talking to someone behind a screen. You can't see what they look like, if they're tall and skinny or sexy. You know, you're just sharing the conversation. And that was one of the things that I paid attention to. They're talking, they can't see each other. And at the end of the day, you're making a decision like, yeah, I want to marry you off of that. It's taking away from the physical. It does show that, you know, communication is key in a good relationship.
You know something, Colleen, you're right. Even though Derek and I saw each other because we were doing FaceTime or whatever, but our communication is on par because we have to talk. We must talk. And we talk about everything, all the issues, everything, because you're not seeing the person, so it's like, oh, hey, like, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. So our communication is really good because we have to talk because we don't see each other regularly.
We have
relationships.
We have two really long-time couples. We have one couple, Nicole. She met her husband. There was no online dating available. 21 years now. They didn't meet online. But if we scroll down a little bit, we saw where I forgot who it was that met their husband online 15 years ago.
15 years.
Candy, online dating is a thing because what was a thing, right? Because Candy said, I met my husband online 15 years ago and we have been married for 14 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I thought it was like new, like online dating.
No.
She met her husband 15 years ago.
Listen, they had
yes, I saw that.
Oh my gosh. This is Lulu says only thing females. Lulu was saying something, I missed that. Only something about
only thing female want is groceries.
Groceries? What is that? What is that?
Well, I could see that. I mean, it's Corona. I don't want to go to the supermarket.
So you're with that, right? The groceries.
I guess if I was single, just bring me some groceries. I don't know.
I don't know.
You know what?
Too much.
Carmelyn, I kind of agree with you when it comes to prayer because I did pray for my husband. So
oh wow.
I definitely like it was more so of I surrender. I said, Lord, I've been picking what I wanted and I surrender and I want you to bring the person into my life that you feel that that would fit for me. And and make sure that they're ready when I meet them and I'm ready when I meet them. So I totally agree when it comes to prayer.
And my list was very, very short. It was like 7 little things I wanted.
Oh wow.
Compared to like the other list that was 25 things. Oh, he needs to this. His head needs to be this. His face needs to look. So 7 little things. So I kept it short for God. I was like, that's all I want, God. And he ticked off everything off my list except height because I didn't have it. And when I was fussing about it in the beginning, I was like, but he is not. And then I swear I heard something said, you did not write height.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
Just take what I gave you because you didn't ask for that.
Yes, he has the 7 things. So I'm going to take the 7 things. God, thank you very much.
Well, you know, Candy Francis, this is exactly, I was kind of saying Messenger, but she said AOL chat rooms was a thing. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, I remember. You're right. I do remember AOL chat rooms. I remember now. AOL chat rooms. MySpace was a thing.
MySpace. Oh, exactly.
So you're right.
Black Planet.
I remember Black. I remember Black people meet.
Yeah.
we had black people meet.
Mhm.
I
Oh
think
yeah,
women is
I
still around.
no, I dated a guy I met on Black People Meet for 5 years before Derek. So like,
So you're the expert on this online dating, Hermione.
because I
Mhm.
didn't because I'm an introvert and I do not like to go out. I do not like the clubs and I do not like all this going and meeting people stuff. So I feel I had more control online
Yeah.
because
Okay.
I could ask all my questions that I would probably shy away from in person.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, when it comes to like online and dating and things like that, we watch a lot of like reality TV shows and with people exposing their whole lives to everyone. Do you think that marriages breaks up because they're in a reality TV show, or is it just personal? It's just because they've been having problems before that?
I think it's both. It could be a build-up because remember, what's going to come out in the public is what's been happening behind the scenes all the while.
Yes.
Being on the show is just amplifying what's been going on. So I think it's both. And I think, sometimes one person wants to be very open with the public and the other is not. Or, if it's both ways. But I think, when you decide to put your personal life out there for the public, it's going to take a lot of hits, right? Because you're
Yes.
with people's opinions, and things you might start questioning. Like you read something about what someone says, and then you start really questioning,
Yes.
like, is this really how you look at me, or this is how you think?
Which shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't, but
Mhm.
remember, some people, are very much affected by what others think of them and how they're
Yeah.
perceived. And when you're putting your marriage out there just the same way, you have to be ready for that feedback that you're going to get, because you're giving us the okay to judge you in some sense, not just to be entertained by you, but we're looking like, is that really the way they're doing stuff? And is that the way she acts, or is that the way he behaves? So I think it's both.
I remember like with like Real Housewives of Atlanta, like I don't know if you remember Cynthia Bailey.
Yes.
She's been married a couple of times, and I remember her past relationship with Peter.
Yes.
They broke up, and it kind of seemed it was because of reality TV, because she had a lot of her mother and her sisters involved and everything when it came to their marriage, and it kind of fell apart because they basically was like, oh, you guys don't belong together, blah 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 blah, but it fell apart. So I feel like when it comes to reality TV, I feel like if you have to go into it, you have to know what to expect, and you have that control of what you want everyone to see. So and both parties should understand that they shouldn't take every comment literal, and in reality TV, it's not really real, even though it says real.
Right. Yeah. But again, do you think the reality TV affects us in our own relationship? Because I know someone whose relationship broke up because of reality TV. It's like she thought she was Evelyn. She was to me, like when I looked, she had a good marriage or whatever. And I would say, you acting like Evelyn. And she's like, yes, I'm Evelyn. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. I'm not accepting this anymore. And the relationship, and I'm like,
herself.
She was just involved in the show so much that she started emulating what was going on in her own marriage.
But what Lulu says, and I tend to agree with Lulu, and I also agree with Chrissy, where she says communication is key, but the attraction has to be there too. So of course, even though you're communicating online, you're talking, but you need some kind of attraction even when you meet.
I agree with that. I agree with
Definitely.
that.
I agree with that.
And then Lulu said, what you give to the world, you cannot take back. As it pertains to reality TV. Remember, we're bringing the world into our homes, into our private lives. So it's hard to kind of, and I know it's a show in the case of Cynthia Bailey. So we know she was on the show, but she was, we saw their fights, we saw them happy. So we kind of start getting invested in these couples.
Exactly.
Right? And they were giving us everything. So there was I don't know if they had any private moments where it
To
was them as
reflect.
a couple, just
Yeah.
reflecting or having the fight in the kitchen where nobody's seeing, or having the fight in the closed bedroom door. So she was giving a lot to the world. Lulu, I agree with you, girl.
And it kind of lets you down because it's like you're rooting for these people and then they break up. It's like, man, I was rooting for you. Like, why did you break up?
I know. Yeah. So Victoria,
And I think too, we have to be mindful that there are a lot of takes, right? And a lot of cuts. And we don't get to see those parts that they, edit out from the show.
True.
Of what might have led up to certain things. Because knowing Cynthia, she had a lot of insecurities about certain things. And, remember for her marriage that day, she was like very anxious. Should I do it or should I not do it? When her sister and her mom hit her marriage license, right? All of that kind of played into, her anxiety of not doing that. And, it definitely shows us that, again, you see people and you think that they're like superhumans because they're on the TV, but they have their own human, challenges as well.
And
right?
that
comes with marriages as well, right? So they give us these parts where, we're seeing the fighting, we're seeing the arguments, but we're not seeing, those little things that explains, this is the human side. This is their concerns. This is what hurts them. This is why they're so aggressive, like Evelyn. But did your friend fight Hummelin? Because Evelyn was a fighter.
No, she was a fighter. Yeah, she was a fighter.
Trying to be Evelyn, she better go all the way.
No,
she 100%.
She is a fighter. She is a fighter.
And I know we're almost coming to an end. I think we have a little bit under 5 minutes left, but I didn't want the time to expire before saying that if you guys have not seen Love is Blind, I'm just saying.
Go see it.
And call live. You guys want to call the numbers down on the screen, 718-701-5720. Let us know about if you've done online dating. What's your thought on reality TV? Let us know.
And going out and voting.
Voting. Yes. Definitely voting. We have to.
I think we have Victor, I think we have time for one more comment. I see Candy Francis posting. I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, sorry, Lenny, go ahead. If you really like this show, show us some love, show us your support by being here. Tell all your friends about this program.
Like and
Join
share.
us every Sunday, like and share. And if you really like us, you can give a little change to us on GoFund Live.
Well, we don't want a little change. We want them to support us boldly and confidently.
Okay.
We want the bold coin.
Yes, boldly support us.
Because Diani makes sure she tells the truth out there.
Yes, right. We want to keep the show on the air, and we can do so with your support.
Yes.
And tell us what you want to hear. Share. Tell us some of the things that you would love to hear us talk about. We would love to hear from you. And, our issues are related to you. You are our viewers. And we would love to know your thoughts. What is it
exactly? And you can email any questions. Yeah, we have a caller. Okay.
Yes.
Caller, can you hear us? I don't think that he or she can hear us.
If you have something really juicy to share, you can write it.
Yes, email us.
Hear you.
Email us at top5live@gmail.com.
Thanks for calling. Anyway,
Candy. Well, let us make this clear. Lulu is a guy. He said, "I am a guy."
Sorry, Lulu. And that's what I get for not wearing my glasses, Lulu. I really do apologize, and we value your input. That was all me because I don't have my glasses. I'm trying to look cute.
And Lulu, when you come back, bring some other men with you.
Bring some other men with you, Lulu.
Yes, at least 10 of them.
Okay. Thank you, Lulu.
Candy Francis says, I think when you meet someone online, you make a different type of connection. You truly get to see if you have an inner connection versus physical connection. Physical connection is definitely important for a long-term relationship. but you have to be able to connect on another level, which is more important.
An emotional level. You definitely connect on an emotional level. Yes.
Yes. And that sums everything up basically. That's
People look cute, but that doesn't mean they're nice.
Exactly.
Handsome, tall, cute, all the things we can see.
That's Hermelin's seven. Hermelin's seven things.
Seven things.
Yes. 7 things. They might be missing that one thing.
Yeah.
They have the seven.
Seven little things, yeah.
Listen, all of it. Love is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Well,
It is.
Yes.
thank you everyone for tuning in. And,
yes, we enjoyed you guys.
One of the comments, if you like, also follow us on Instagram.
Let me say hi to my cousin Veron, who's been watching the live from for the whole hour.
Hi, Veron.
And hi, Denise.
Hi, everyone.
My Aunt Denise Cross is on here. Say
hi, Denise.
And my mom and my husband.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
All the Grenadian people. Happy Carnival. Even though some of you missed it, some enjoyed it. I missed it. I'm upset about that, but safety first.
Well, we're so happy that you guys tuned in and continue to share our show and support us as we continue to come on every Sunday at 5 p.m.
Yes.
God bless, Lulu. God bless.
Share, and I hope to see you guys next week.
Awesome.